Ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk to you about a battlefield that exists not outside of you, but within you. It is a place where wars are waged daily, a place where thoughts rise like storms, where doubts try to drown your purpose. Fear whispers, lies designed to keep you small. I'm here to tell you today that you can take control of your mind. You can stand as the master of your thoughts, the commander of your emotions, and the architect of your destiny. The first step to control is awareness. You must know your mind. You must know the patterns, the voices, the lies, the distractions. The moment you recognize the enemy, you gain power over it. Next, you must declare ownership over your thoughts. No one else should determine how you think. The world will try to impose doubt. The devil will try to instill fear. Circumstances will try to convince you that you are less than you are, but yes, you must rise and say, my mind is mine, and I will command it. But awareness and declaration alone are not enough. You must feed your mind what it deserves: truth, purpose, hope. Stop allowing lies and negativity to plant roots in your head. If you feed your mind garbage, you will harvest chaos. Feed it wisdom, and you will harvest power. You must also practice discipline. Just as a soldier trains every day, so must you train your thoughts. When negativity rises, you speak positivity. Fear threatens, you remind yourself of truth. Discipline turns a mind from a battlefield into a throne room. You must control your focus. Where attention goes, energy flows. If you focus on fear, failure, and the opinions of others, your mind will become their playground. Focus on your vision, your purpose, and the life you are called to live, and watch how your world transforms. You must replace doubt with belief. Your mind is like a garden. If you plant doubt, worry, and fear, it grows. But if you plant faith, hope, and courage, it flourishes. Choose carefully what you cultivate. You must master your emotions. Emotions are powerful, but they are not the ruler. They are the servant. When anger rises, when frustration knocks, when despair wants to settle in, you say, you do not have power here. You control the weather of your mind. You must embrace persistence. The mind will resist, the mind will fight, but you must fight back harder. Every time you refuse to yield, you grow stronger. Every time you take control, your confidence grows. And finally, you must believe in the limitless potential of your mind. Your mind is not a prisoner of your past, your environment, or your mistakes. It is a kingdom waiting for a king, a masterpiece waiting for an artist, and a miracle waiting to be unleashed. First step to taking control of your life, the first step to mastering your destiny, begins not with your circumstances, not with the people around you, not with the world trying to dictate your path. It begins within. It begins with the mind. Yes, the mind. Unseen battlefield where every victory or defeat starts. Awareness of your mind is the foundation of every triumph, every success, every breakthrough you will ever experience. And if you do not understand the mind you live in, you will forever be a prisoner of thoughts you did not choose, a victim of beliefs you did not examine, and a slave to emotions you did not master. To be aware of your mind is to know what is happening inside of you at every moment. Many of us live our lives on autopilot, moving through days like sleepwalkers, unaware of the conversations happening in our heads. Thoughts rise and fall like waves, some encouraging, some discouraging, and yet we rarely stop to notice. We hear the whisper of doubt but dismiss it. We feel the tug of fear but ignore it. We think the lies that we are not enough, not capable, not worthy, and we accept them as truth. Awareness begins when we pause long enough to observe these thoughts, to recognize the patterns, to understand that we have a choice about which thoughts we entertain and which we reject. Awareness is not passive. It is not a simple acknowledgement of thinking. Awareness is active engagement with your inner world. It is a decision to stop letting your mind run wild like an untrained animal. It is saying, I see you fear, I hear you doubt, I feel you worry. You will not dictate my life. Every moment you become conscious of your thoughts, you create a space between the stimulus, the things happening around you, and your response. That space is power. That space is freedom. That space is the beginning of control. Awareness of your mind is not easy. Your mind is cunning. It is slippery. It has been shaped over years, decades even, by experiences, by voices you heard growing up, by failures, by pain, by the opinions of others. It carries the baggage of memories that have been unexamined, emotions that have been ignored, and assumptions that have been accepted without question. Becoming aware of the mind means shining a light into dark corners, walking into rooms you have avoided, confronting thoughts that make you uncomfortable, and facing truths you have hidden from yourself. And yes, that takes courage. It takes boldness. It takes a willingness to see yourself clearly, even when it is not flattering, even when it is painful, even when it challenges every story you have told yourself about who you are. Awareness also means understanding the power of your thoughts. Every thought has energy. Every thought has direction. Every thought, whether spoken or unspoken, shapes the way you see the world and the way you act in it. Negative thoughts create negative experiences. Fearful thoughts limit your potential. Small, doubtful thoughts chain you to mediocrity. And yet, positive, powering, and disciplined thoughts can lift you, transform you, and propel you toward unimaginable heights. Awareness is the act of seeing these thoughts for what they are, recognizing the power they hold, and deciding which ones to nurture and which ones to discard. Many people fail to take control of their lives simply because they do not take control of their minds. They blame circumstances, they blame others, they blame the world. But the truth is, the world does not have power over you until you allow it into your mind. Awareness of your mind is the doorway to freedom. When you see the lies for what they are, when you recognize the fear for what it is, when you observe the doubt for what it is, you no longer have to be a slave to them. You can choose your thoughts. You can direct your focus. You can choose to believe the truth, even when everything around you seems to suggest otherwise. Awareness also teaches you the importance of listening to your mind without being controlled by it. There is a difference between noticing a thought and obeying it. The mind will always have an opinion, will always have a narrative, will always have a judgment. Awareness allows you to witness it, acknowledge it, and then move forward with purpose. For example, when fear arises, awareness allows you to say, I see you. You are here, but you do not have the final say. I will act in spite of you. When doubt whispers that you are not capable, awareness allows you to recognize the voice and choose the voice of courage instead. This is not wishful thinking. This is intentional mastery. This is the discipline of the mind that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. Being aware of your mind also requires honesty with yourself. You must confront the thoughts you have been avoiding, the feelings you have been suppressing, the patterns you have been repeating unconsciously. Awareness is the moment you stop running from yourself. It is the moment you stop blaming others for the chaos in your inner world. It is the moment you take radical responsibility for the quality of your thoughts, and in doing so, take radical responsibility for the quality of your life. Awareness of your mind is the seed of transformation. You cannot change what you do not see. You cannot take control of what you do not understand. Awareness is the flashlight in the dark room of your mind. It is the first act of courage that leads to action. It is the moment you move from being reactive to being proactive, from being a victim to being a victor, from being enslaved by thoughts to being empowered by purpose. Stop living unconsciously. Stop allowing your mind to dictate your reality without your permission. Begin the practice of awareness. Observe your thoughts. Notice your emotions. Question your assumptions. Shine a light on your fears. Speak truth to yourself. Create the space to recognize what is working in your mind and what is not. Because the moment you become aware of your mind, the moment you begin to understand its patterns, the moment you start to watch your thoughts as if you are watching a garden being cultivated, you gain power. Power is the ability to choose. Power is the ability to rise. Power is the ability to command your life. Awareness is not just the first step, it is the step that changes everything. The mind is your greatest asset, but also your greatest challenge. Awareness is the key that unlocks its potential. Without awareness, the mind controls you. With awareness, you control the mind, and through it, you control your destiny. Rise up, be vigilant, be conscious, be brave. See the battles in your mind, face them, and take control. Your life depends on it. Your destiny demands it. Your mind, your powerful, limitless mind awaits your command. There is a power in the world that too few understand. a power that can change the trajectory of your life, redefine your purpose, and shape your destiny. It is the power of declaring ownership of your mind. You see, most people live as if they are guests in their own lives. They allow thoughts to pass unchallenged, emotions to dictate actions, and circumstances to define who they are. They blame the past, they blame the people around them, and they blame the world. But the truth is this: nothing external can control you without your permission. You hold the key. You are the owner. And the first step to freedom, to success, to true fulfillment is declaring ownership over your mind, your thoughts, your life. Declaring ownership means saying, I am responsible, I am accountable. I am the one who decides what I think, how I feel, and how I act. It is not just a statement. It is a commitment. Commitment to stand in the center of your life and claim it fully. Too often, people drift through life like leaves in the wind, pushed this way and that, tossed by circumstances they refuse to confront. But when you declare ownership, you refuse to be a leaf. You refuse to drift. You refuse to allow the storms of life to dictate the course of your destiny. You say, I am the captain of this ship. I chart the course. I determine the direction. Ownership is not about control over the world. It is about control over yourself. It is about recognizing that no matter what happens around you, you are the final authority in your mind. The world may try to fill you with fear. Society may try to convince you that you are less than, and your past may attempt to anchor you in regret. But declaring ownership is saying, not today. You do not have dominion over me. I am the one in charge. To declare ownership, you must claim responsibility for your thoughts. Thoughts are not innocent. Thoughts are seeds. And whatever you allow to grow in your mind will eventually manifest in your life. If you let fear take root, fear will grow. If you let doubt take root, doubt will grow. If you allow negativity to plant seeds, chaos will flourish. But when you declare ownership, you take responsibility for every thought. You say, I will not allow fear to dominate me. I will not give my mind over to doubt. I will choose the thoughts that align with my purpose, my vision, my destiny. That is ownership. That is power. That is freedom. Ownership also requires courage. It is easy to blame others. It is easy to point fingers. It is easy to say, the world did this to me, or that person did that to me. But true ownership demands courage. Courage to face the truth, even when it is uncomfortable. Courage to admit that your life is your responsibility and you are accountable for the direction it takes. Courage to say, I will not wait for permission. Will not wait for validation. I will take charge. I will act. I will lead my mind, and through it, lead my life. When you declare ownership, you stop being a passive participant in your life. You stop being a victim of circumstances. You stop allowing your past to define your present. Ownership means standing firm and saying, I may have faced failures. I may have faced setbacks. I may have faced disappointments, but they do not define me. I define me. I am the one responsible for my destiny. Every thought you have, every action you take, every choice you make is now under your authority. You are no longer a passenger. You are the driver. You are no longer a follower. You are the leader. Declaring ownership also involves discipline. You cannot own what you do not manage. You cannot declare authority over a mind that is chaotic, unruly, or uncontrolled. Ownership means training your mind, steering your focus, and deliberately choosing your mental diet. What you watch, what you listen to, what you speak to yourself, these are the tools of ownership. You choose, you decide. You do not let circumstances or opinions or distractions dictate the inner conversation. Every thought is examined, every emotion is assessed, every reaction is intentional. That is ownership in action. But there is something even deeper about ownership. It is liberating. You declare ownership of your mind. You are no longer at the mercy of external validation. You no longer rely on approval, recognition, or praise to feel complete. You no longer fear judgment, criticism, or rejection because you understand who you are, whose you are. Power that resides in your ownership of your mind. The person who declares ownership is free because they recognize that true power does not come from the world. It comes from within. True authority does not come from others. It comes from knowing and commanding yourself. Ownership is also transformative. When you declare authority over your mind, you begin to see everything differently. Challenges become opportunities. Failures become lessons. Criticism becomes feedback. Obstacles become stepping stones. Life is no longer something that happens to you. It becomes something you actively shape, mold, and master. Ownership allows you to respond rather than react, to create rather than complain, to lead rather than follow. Ownership is the doorway to growth, the key to success, the foundation of excellence. Finally, declaring ownership is non-negotiable. If you want to achieve greatness, if you want to live a life of purpose, if you want to rise above limitations and make your mark on the world, you must declare it. You must stand in front of the mirror of your mind and say, "This is mine. My thoughts are mine. My beliefs are mine. My life is mine. Full responsibility. I claim full authority. I am the owner, and I will lead this mind to victory." There is no room for excuses, no room for blame, no room for surrender. Ownership is absolute, unwavering, and transformative. So rise up today and declare ownership of your mind. Refuse to let fear, doubt, negativity, or the opinions of others control your inner world. Step into the authority that is rightfully yours. Command your thoughts. Discipline your focus. Choose what you allow to grow within you. Take responsibility for your mind, your life, and your destiny. Because the one who declares ownership over their mind is the one who ultimately declares victory over their life. I want you to hear me clearly today. What you feed your mind is what you become. Every single thought that you allow to take root in your mind, every single word that you speak to yourself, every single image, idea, or belief that you entertain shapes the life you live. Your mind is a garden, a sacred place where seeds grow, where possibilities flourish, and where destinies are born. And yet, too often, people allow their minds to be filled with weeds, doubt, fear, negativity, and lies, and they wonder why their lives do not blossom. I am here to tell you today, you must feed your mind positivity if you want to live a life of purpose. Power and promise. Feeding your mind positivity is not just about thinking happy thoughts or reciting empty affirmations. It is about deliberate, intentional cultivation of the mental landscape where your life is nurtured. The words you allow into your mind, the stories you tell yourself, the focus you maintain, they determine whether you grow or whether you rise or fall, whether you soar or remain grounded by fear. Positivity is the soil, the water, the sunlight for your mind. Without it, your potential remains dormant, your dreams remain unfulfilled, and your power remains untapped. So what does it mean to feed your mind positivity? It means choosing what you expose yourself to, what you dwell on, and what you believe. Too many people consume negativity as if it were sustenance. They watch toxic news. They scroll through social media filled with envy and comparison. They listen to conversations that tear them down rather than lift them up. And they repeat negative self-talk until it becomes truth. They feed their minds poison and then wonder why their lives taste bitter. But positivity is not passive, it is active. It requires discernment, focus, and intentionality. It requires saying no to the things that destroy and yes to the things that build. Feeding your mind positivity also means filling it with truth. Lies will never sustain you. Lies will never grow your strength. Lies will never build your confidence. The world may try to convince you that you are weak, inadequate, unworthy, but you have the authority to reject those lies. You must replace falsehood with truth. You must declare to your mind, I am capable, I am strong, I am enough, I am powerful, I am destined for greatness. Truth is the fertilizer for the mind. Truth gives life to your thoughts. Truth creates momentum in your life. And when your mind is rooted in truth, no circumstance, no opinion, no challenge can uproot you. But positivity is more than truth. It is perspective. It is the ability to see light in the midst of darkness, opportunity in the midst of difficulty, and lessons in the midst of failure. Person who feeds their mind positivity does not ignore reality. They see it clearly, but they refuse to let it define them. They do not allow setbacks to harden them or criticism to paralyze them. They cultivate a mindset that says, I will focus on what I can control. I will see the good. I will nurture the possibility. I will choose hope over despair. Feeding your mind positivity means training your thoughts to seek solutions instead of problems, to look for blessings instead of curses, to see growth instead of defeat. Feeding your mind positivity is also an act of self-respect. The mind is your most valuable possession. The quality of your life depends on the quality of your inner conversation. When you feed your mind negativity, you dishonor yourself. When you feed it fear, you betray your potential. But when you feed it positivity, you honor your worth. You tell yourself, I deserve thoughts that uplift me, beliefs that strengthen me, and perspectives that empower me. Positivity is not selfish, it is sacred. It is the acknowledgement that your mind is a holy space and you must treat it with care. Positivity is contagious. The thoughts you feed your mind ripple outward. When you think positively, you speak positively. When you act positively, you influence others positively. Feeding your mind positivity does not just change your life, it changes the atmosphere around you. It strengthens relationships, inspires others, creates environments where growth is possible. Negativity isolates, positivity connects. Negativity paralyzes, positivity energizes. And every day, you have a choice about which you will cultivate. Feeding your mind positivity also requires discipline. The mind is not a machine that automatically gravitates toward what is good. It is a field that must be tended, pruned, and nurtured. You must monitor the thoughts you allow in. You must speak life into yourself when discouragement arises. You must surround yourself with voices that lift rather than tear down. You must create routines, practices, and habits that reinforce positivity. Read inspiring material, listen to empowering messages, speak affirmations of truth, avoid gossip, complaint, and comparison. Feed your mind like you feed your body, with intention, care, and consistency. Feeding your mind positivity does not mean that life will be easy. It does not mean that challenges will vanish or that difficulties will flee. But it does mean that you will face challenges with strength, difficulties with wisdom, and setbacks with resilience. The person who feeds their mind positivity rises above circumstances because they have cultivated an inner power that cannot be shaken. They do not rely on external conditions to determine their peace. They cultivate it within. They do not depend on applause or approval to validate them. They know who they are and what they are capable of. And finally, feeding your mind positivity is transformational. It changes how you perceive yourself, how you relate to others, and how you interact with the world. It shifts your energy, your focus, your decisions, and your results. Positivity creates a ripple effect. It changes your mindset. Your mindset changes your behavior, and your behavior changes your outcomes, and your outcomes change your life. What you feed grows. When you feed your mind positivity, greatness grows inside of you. So today, I challenge you, examine your mental diet. Look at the thoughts, the words, images, and the beliefs you consume. Are they nourishing you or poisoning you? Are they uplifting you or tearing you down? Are they planting seeds of greatness or seeds of despair? Choose wisely. Feed your mind what it deserves. Speak life to yourself. Surround yourself with truth and encouragement. Meditate on what is good, pure, and excellent. Reject negativity in all its forms. Nourish your mind with positivity so that your thoughts become powerful, your decisions become wise, and your life becomes unstoppable. Your mind is a garden. Your life is the harvest, and what you feed will determine what you reap. Feed your mind positivity and watch as your life transforms. Feed your mind negativity and watch as your potential withers. The choice is yours. Take ownership. Be intentional. Be disciplined. Be relentless. Feed your mind positivity and become the person you were created to be. I want to speak to you today about something that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. Something that determines whether you stumble through life or rise to your destiny. Something that gives power to your mind, strength to your purpose, structure to your dreams. That something is discipline. Discipline is the bridge between intention and achievement. Discipline is the act of mastery over yourself. Discipline is the commitment to take control of your mind, your actions, and your destiny, even when no one is watching, even when it is hard, even when the world tries to distract you. Many people misunderstand discipline. They think it is a punishment. They think it is restriction. They think it is rigid rules and deprivation. But discipline is not punishment. It is empowerment. Discipline is the daily choice to rise above weakness, to refuse excuses, to command your mind and actions toward the life you are called to live. It is the unwavering commitment to do what must be done, even when desire fades, even when motivation falters, and even when the moment feels uncomfortable. Discipline is not something you do once. It is something you practice continuously. It is a habit, a lifestyle, declaration that your life will not be left to chance. To practice discipline is to train your mind. Your mind is powerful, but it is also unruly. Without discipline, it wanders, it doubts, it fears, it surrenders to distractions, and it listens to voices that are not your own. But with discipline, you direct your thoughts. You decide what to focus on. You refuse to let negativity or chaos infiltrate your mental space. You train your mind to think truth, to see possibilities, and to act in alignment with your purpose. Every thought you discipline, every belief you correct, every emotion you master strengthens your inner power and fortifies your mind against the storms of life. Discipline also means controlling your actions. Your thoughts are seeds, but your actions are the harvest. It is not enough to think rightly. You must act rightly. Discipline is the commitment to do what is right, what is necessary, and what is required to move forward, regardless of comfort or convenience. It is the refusal to procrastinate. It is the refusal to settle for mediocrity. It is the act of saying, I will do what must be done, even when I do not feel like it, even when it is inconvenient, even when no one is watching. Action without discipline is chaos. Discipline without action is wasted potential. Together, they create unstoppable momentum. Discipline requires consistency. Greatness is not born in a single act. Success is not achieved in a moment of inspiration. It is forged in the daily, relentless practice of small, intentional actions. It is the repeated choice to show up, to persist, to improve, and to grow. Discipline is the quiet, unseen work that shapes character, strengthens resolve, creates results. Every day you choose discipline, you build trust with yourself. Every day you choose discipline, you prove to your mind, body, soul that you are capable. Every day you choose discipline, you move closer to the life you have been called to live. But discipline is not easy. Life will test it, weakness will tempt it, distraction will challenge it, the mind will resist it, the flesh will complain, circumstances will try to convince you to give up. But discipline is forged in resistance, strengthened by perseverance, and proven through action. It is when the world is heavy, when your energy is low, when fear rises in your mind, and you still choose to move forward. That is discipline. That is mastery. That is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. Discipline also means prioritizing what matters. Your time, your energy, your focus are limited resources. Without discipline, they are wasted on trivialities, consumed by distractions, and stolen by procrastination. Discipline allows you to focus on the essentials. It aligns your actions with your purpose. It ensures that every choice, every effort, every decision serves the life you are building. When you practice discipline, you guard your time, your attention, and your energy. You do not allow anything to divert you from your path. You pursue your goals with clarity, focus, and unwavering determination. Practicing discipline is also a form of self-respect. It is the act of telling yourself that your life matters, your dreams matter, your potential is worth cultivating. Discipline is a declaration that you will not waste your gifts, your time, or your opportunities. It is saying, I am committed to excellence. I am committed to growth. I am committed to victory. When you practice discipline, you honor yourself, your purpose, possibilities that lie before you. Discipline is not just about restriction, it is about freedom. You may think it is confining to control your mind, structure your actions, or to resist impulses. But true freedom comes from mastery. Freedom comes from the ability to choose, to act, to rise above circumstance rather than being a victim of it. Discipline allows you to break free from habits that hold you back. Discipline allows you to transcend fear, doubt, and distraction. Discipline allows you to live intentionally, to pursue your calling, to fulfill your potential. It is the pathway to liberation, power, and purpose. Finally, practicing discipline is transformational. It transforms your mind, your character, and your destiny. It builds resilience when challenges arise. It strengthens courage when fear attacks. Amplifies focus when distraction tempts. It turns intention into action and action into results. Person who practices discipline becomes unstoppable because they are no longer ruled by weakness or circumstance. They are guided by purpose, conviction, consistency. Every disciplined choice, every disciplined thought, every disciplined action compounds over time, creating a life of impact, influence, achievement. Do not wait for motivation. Do not wait for inspiration. Do not wait for the perfect moment. Begin now. Practice discipline in your mind, your actions, and your life. Take control of your thoughts. Command your focus. Prioritize what matters. Push yourself beyond comfort. Show up every day. Do the work when no one is watching. Commit to consistency. Rise above distraction. Embrace resistance. Strengthen your will. Build your character. Watch as your life transforms before your very eyes. Discipline is the gateway. Discipline is the bridge. Discipline is the fire that refines your mind and shapes your destiny. Without discipline, dreams fade, potential is wasted, and life drifts aimlessly. With discipline, you become unstoppable, you become powerful, you become the person you were called to be. Stand up, take control, commit, focus, train your mind, line your actions, practice discipline relentlessly. The life you desire is on the other side of discipline, and the victory you seek is waiting for the strength you cultivate today. I want to speak to you today about one of the most powerful tools you have at your disposal, one of the greatest determinants of your success, your peace, your purpose, and your destiny. That tool is focus. Yes, focus, the ability to direct your mind, your attention, and your energy toward what truly matters. You see, life will throw distractions at you. Life will try to scatter your energy. Life will present noise, confusion, and chaos. The person who learns to control their focus rises above the noise. The person who masters focus rises above circumstance. The person who commands their focus shapes their reality and secures their destiny. Controlling your focus begins with understanding its power. Where your attention goes, energy flows. The things you think about, the things you dwell on, the things you repeatedly allow into your mind, they grow in influence. If you focus on fear, it multiplies. If you focus on failure, it strengthens. If you focus on what you lack, lack increases. But if you focus on possibility, potential, and purpose, your life transforms. Focus is not passive. It is not accidental. It is the act of choosing what receives your attention and what does not. Quality of your life is directly tied to the quality of your focus. Controlling your focus requires intentionality. Too often, people drift through life like leaves in a storm, pulled this way and that by every distraction, every temptation, every voice that cries for their attention. Social media, gossip, negative news, trivial concerns, other people's opinions, all of these compete for your mind. But the disciplined person chooses. They say, no, my attention is precious. My mind is sacred. I will not allow distractions to dictate my destiny. Intentionality is the act of taking your focus off what is unimportant and putting it squarely on what is vital, your vision, your purpose, your goals, and the actions that lead to success. Controlling your focus also means mastering your thoughts. Your mind will wander. Your attention will flicker. That is natural. But the key is not to let wandering thoughts control you. Awareness and discipline allow you to redirect your focus to what matters most. When negative thoughts arise, you consciously shift your mind toward positive, constructive, and empowering thoughts. When fear attempts to steal your attention, you redirect your focus to courage, to truth, and to possibility. When doubt whispers that you cannot, you focus on what you have already overcome, on your strengths and on your potential. Focus is a skill, like a muscle. It grows stronger with practice. Controlling your focus is about prioritization. Not everything deserves your attention. Not every crisis is yours to handle. Every opinion is yours to internalize. Learning to prioritize is essential to mastery over focus. You must ask yourself what truly matters in this moment. What aligns with my purpose? What will move me closer to my goals? Anything outside of that is noise. Anything outside of that is a distraction. By controlling your focus, you protect your mind from depletion and channel your energy where it counts. Focus is also about resilience. The world will always try to pull your attention away. Circumstances will demand it. People will demand it. The mind itself will demand it. Controlling your focus means staying steadfast in the face of distraction, staying committed to your path, refusing to be derailed by anything that does not serve your purpose. Every time you redirect your focus to what matters, you strengthen your mental resilience. Every time you refuse to give your mind to chaos, you fortify your ability to achieve. Controlling your focus also requires clarity of vision. You cannot direct your energy if you do not know where to aim it. People wander aimlessly because they have no destination in mind. But when you are clear about your purpose, your goals, and your values, focus becomes your weapon. You can see the distractions, acknowledge them, and then look past them to what is most important. You become unshakable because your mind is trained to lock onto the target and ignore everything else. Vision without focus is useless. Focus without vision is wasted. Together, they create unstoppable momentum. Focus is discipline in action. It is the daily practice of choosing what receives your mental energy. It is the refusal to give space to what does not serve you. It is the deliberate decision to invest time, thought, and energy into the things that align with your destiny. You will not always feel like focusing. The mind will resist, the flesh will complain, distractions will call, but discipline allows you to act even when you do not feel like it. Discipline allows you to keep your eyes on the prize, to guard your attention, and to channel your energy into what truly matters. Controlling your focus is also an act of empowerment. When you control your focus, you control your experience, you control how you react to life. You control what grows in your mind and therefore what grows in your life. People who cannot control their focus are controlled by circumstance. They are tossed by events, overwhelmed by opinions, and defeated by distraction. People who control their focus, however, are leaders of their lives. They decide what thoughts grow, what actions they take, and what reality they create. Focus is the power to shape your world. Finally, controlling your focus is transformational. It changes your mindset, your productivity, your resilience, and your results. It allows you to rise above mediocrity, to overcome challenges, and to achieve goals that once seemed impossible. Focus creates clarity. Focus creates consistency. Focus creates action. Focus multiplies your efforts, amplifies your results, and magnifies your impact. The person who masters focus becomes unstoppable because they are no longer scattered. They are centered. They are no longer reactive. They are intentional. They are no longer distracted. They are determined. Examine your focus. Where is your attention going? What are you feeding your mind with? Are you allowing chaos and distraction to steal your energy, or are you deliberately directing your focus toward purpose, growth, and greatness? Make the conscious choice to control your focus. Guard it, discipline it, sharpen it, and direct it with precision. Your mind is powerful, your life is precious, and your destiny is waiting for the focus you choose to give it. Where your attention goes, energy flows. Control your focus, and you control your life. Neglect your focus, and you drift, you falter, you stagnate. Take control of your mind, center your attention on what matters, and watch as your life transforms. The power to create, to rise, and to succeed is in your focus. Harness it, guard it, master it, and let it lead you to the life you were born to live. I want to speak to you today about a quiet enemy, a hidden saboteur that lurks in the corners of your mind. That enemy is doubt. Doubt is subtle. Doubt whispers when no one else is speaking. Doubt plants seeds of fear in the soil of your heart. Doubt convinces you that you are not enough, you cannot achieve, that your dreams are too big, that your vision is impossible. And if left unchecked, doubt will grow, it will spread, it will control your mind, and before long it will dictate your life. But I am here to tell you today that doubt has no power unless you feed it. The antidote to doubt is belief. Belief in yourself, belief in your purpose, belief in your potential, and belief in the destiny that is waiting for you. Replacing doubt with belief begins with awareness. You cannot fight what you do not see. You cannot reject what you do not recognize. The first step is to identify the doubts that live in your mind. Listen to the quiet voice that says, "I can't." Notice the moments when fear convinces you to pause or retreat. Recognize the lies that tell you, you are not ready, you are not capable, you are not worthy. Awareness is the first act of power, because the moment you see doubt for what it is, a lie of fear, trick of the mind, you take away its invisibility and you take away its control over you. Once you are aware of doubt, the next step is refusing its authority. Doubt has no throne in your mind unless you allow it to sit there. It whispers, it taunts, tempts, but you have the power to replace its voice with a louder, stronger voice of belief. Say to yourself, I am capable, I am strong, I am worthy, I am prepared, I am destined for greatness. Say it until your mind begins to believe it. Speak it until your heart begins to feel it. Repeat it until doubt has no space to reside. You cannot wish doubt away. You must replace it with belief. You must feed your mind the truth until belief becomes stronger than fear. Belief is more than hope. Belief is more than wishful thinking. Belief is knowing who you are and what you are capable of, even when circumstances suggest otherwise. Belief is the unshakable conviction that you are designed for victory, that you are capable of overcoming, and that you are equipped to achieve your purpose. Questions. Belief acts. Doubt hesitates. Belief perseveres. Doubt diminishes. Belief multiplies. To replace doubt with belief, you must immerse your mind in conviction. You must meditate on your strengths, your achievements, and the possibilities that lie ahead. You must feed your heart with the certainty that you are more than capable of rising above any challenge. Replacing doubt with belief also requires courage. It takes courage to stand against the inner critic that has spoken for too long. It takes courage to refuse the lies that have held you back. It takes courage to trust yourself when the world doubts you, when people question your vision, when circumstances appear impossible. Courage is the fuel that allows belief to overpower doubt. The moment you say, I will not believe the lie, I will trust the truth within me, you are exercising bravery, and with bravery comes transformation. Belief must also be reinforced through action. Thoughts alone are not enough. You cannot simply tell yourself you are capable and wait for miracles to happen. Belief is proven through action. Every step you take, every decision you make, every effort you exert is a declaration that belief is stronger than doubt. Action becomes the evidence of your conviction. Doubt may still whisper, but action proves it wrong. Every small victory, every challenge overcome, every risk taken builds belief until it becomes unshakable. Doubt loses its grip because you have chosen to act in spite of it. Replacing doubt with belief requires consistency. Belief is not a one-time choice, it is a daily commitment. Every morning when you wake, every challenge that arises, every unexpected obstacle, you must renew your commitment to believe. Doubt will try to creep back in, it always does, but belief is fortified by repetition, by affirmation, and by deliberate cultivation. You must feed your mind daily with truth, courage, and conviction until belief is the dominant voice, the guiding light, the unwavering foundation of your life. Belief also requires focus. You cannot allow your mind to dwell on what could go wrong, on every risk, on every fear. You must focus on what can go right, the possibilities, on the vision, on your purpose. Doubt multiplies when attention is given to it. Belief grows when focus is applied. Choose carefully what receives your attention. Guard your thoughts. Refuse to allow fear, negativity, or uncertainty to dominate your mind. Focus your energy on what you can control, what you can influence, and what you can create. Replacing doubt with belief is also transformative. Belief changes your perspective. Belief changes your decisions. Belief changes your behavior. Belief changes the trajectory of your life. Doubt keeps you small, confined, and reactive. Belief enlarges your mind, frees your spirit, and empowers your actions. Belief opens doors where doubt sees walls. Belief creates opportunities where doubt sees obstacles. Belief moves you forward where doubt would have kept you stagnant. It is the difference between someone who dreams and someone who achieves. And finally, replacing doubt with belief is non-negotiable for those who desire greatness. Doubt will always try to whisper. Fear will always try to creep in. Obstacles will always rise, but the person who believes refuses to let doubt dictate their life. They declare, I am capable, I am strong, I am ready. I will rise, I will overcome, I will fulfill my destiny. That declaration is the shield that protects you. That declaration is the sword that cuts through uncertainty. That declaration is the light that guides you through the darkness. Recognize your doubts, confront them, refuse their authority. Replace them with belief. Speak it, act it, live it. Feed your mind daily with the truth of your potential, the strength of your purpose, and the certainty of your destiny. Every time doubt whispers, let belief roar louder. Every time fear tempts you, conviction stand taller. Every time hesitation comes, let action prove your strength. Doubt may try to linger, but belief will always prevail when cultivated, reinforced, and protected. Doubt can only exist where belief is weak. Strengthen your belief. Feed it, guard it, nurture it. Place every seed of doubt with a seed of faith in yourself. Speak it, live it, prove it, and watch as your life transforms, as your potential is unleashed, and as your destiny is fulfilled. I want to speak to you today about one of the most powerful, yet most overlooked forces in your life, your emotions. Emotions are a gift. They are signals, they are energy, they are the compass of your inner world. But they are not the ruler of your life. Too many people allow their emotions to dictate their decisions, control their actions, and define their destiny. Anger, fear, jealousy, frustration, despair, they all have voices, and when left unchecked, they speak loudly. But I am here to tell you today, you have the authority to master your emotions. You have the power to lead them rather than be led by them. You have the responsibility to take command of your inner world so that your emotions serve you, not control you. Mastering your emotions begins with awareness. You cannot control what you do not recognize. Too often, people react without noticing. They lash out in anger, sink into fear, or surrender to sadness without even realizing it. Awareness is the first act of power. It is the act of noticing the stirrings of your emotions, naming them, and understanding their source. When frustration rises, ask yourself, why am I feeling this? When fear whispers, ask, what is the truth behind this fear? Awareness creates distance between you and your emotions. It allows you to observe them without being controlled by them. But awareness alone is not enough. You must also take responsibility for your emotional responses. Your emotions are yours. They are not controlled by the actions of others, by circumstance, or by events. Someone may anger you, disappoint you, or challenge you, but they do not own your reaction. You have the choice to respond with composure, with clarity, and with purpose. Mastery comes when you realize that the power lies not in what happens to you, but in how you choose to respond. Emotions are energy. It is your responsibility to channel that energy wisely. Mastering your emotions requires discipline. The mind and heart are like muscles. They can be trained. You cannot allow every impulse, every fleeting feeling, every reactive thought to dictate your behavior. Discipline is the act of saying, I will not be controlled by anger. I will not be controlled by fear. I will not be controlled by frustration. It is the act of pausing, breathing, making intentional choices, even in the heat of emotional intensity. Discipline strengthens your emotional resilience, giving you the ability to navigate storms without being swept away. Emotional mastery also means understanding the purpose of your emotions. Every emotion carries a message. Fear may be signaling that something needs attention. Frustration may reveal an unmet expectation. Sadness may point to a need for reflection or healing. Instead of suppressing or denying emotions, the person who masters them asks, what is this teaching me? What can I learn from this feeling? By understanding the message behind your emotions, you gain insight, clarity, and wisdom. Emotions become guides rather than governors. Mastering your emotions requires control of your focus. Where attention goes, energy flows. If you dwell on anger, resentment, or bitterness, those emotions will grow. If you fixate on fear, worry, or doubt, they will multiply. But when you redirect your focus toward gratitude, purpose, faith, and hope, your emotions align with empowerment instead of destruction. Control your focus. You control the direction of your emotional energy. You determine whether it builds you up or tears you down. Mastering your emotions also demands perspective. Emotions are temporary. They rise, they peak, and they fall. Nothing lasts forever, not anger, not disappointment, not grief, not fear. Understanding this impermanence allows you to act with wisdom rather than react with impulsivity. The person who masters emotions sees the bigger picture. They recognize that a single frustrating event does not define their life, moment of fear does not define their courage, and a temporary setback does not define their destiny. Perspective allows your emotions to inform you without controlling you. Mastering your emotions involves choosing your responses consciously. Every day, you are presented with countless emotional triggers. Some are small, some are significant. How you respond to them shapes your character, your relationships, your results. Anger can be used to assert boundaries, but if uncontrolled, it destroys. Fear can be a signal to prepare, but if uncontrolled, it paralyzes. Joy can inspire action, but if uncontrolled, it can distract. You must learn to direct your emotional energy intentionally, transforming potential chaos into focused power. Emotional mastery is also about developing resilience. Life will challenge you. Life will frustrate you. Life will provoke you. But mastery of emotion allows you to rise above adversity. It is the difference between reacting in anger and responding with clarity, between succumbing to fear and acting with courage, between being overwhelmed by sadness and finding strength and perseverance. Resilience is born when you refuse to let emotions control your actions and instead let them inform your wisdom, fuel your determination, guide your decisions. Finally, mastering your emotions is transformational. It changes how you see yourself, how you interact with others, and how you navigate the world. When you control your emotions, you gain confidence, clarity, and authority over your life. You become a stabilizing force in chaos, a leader in confusion, and a calm presence in storms. Emotional mastery allows you to live intentionally, to pursue your purpose without distraction, and to act with power even when everything around you is uncertain. Do not let anger, fear, frustration, doubt rule your life. Observe them, understand them, and take responsibility for them. Train your mind and heart to respond with discipline. Focus your energy on what builds, what strengthens, and what empowers. Keep perspective, act consciously, and develop resilience. Every time you master your emotions, you gain a victory over yourself. Every time you control your responses, you step closer to the life you were called to live. Your emotions are energy, not authority. Your emotions are guides, not governors. Your emotions are signals, not shackles. Master them, and you master yourself. Master yourself, and you master your life. Your destiny awaits, and the first step to fully stepping into it is to take command of the emotional world within you. Stand firm, take control, master your emotions, and watch as your life transforms, your potential unfolds, and your purpose comes alive. I want to speak to you today about a principle that separates the dreamers from the achievers, the ordinary from the extraordinary, and those who fail from those who triumph. That principle is persistence. Persistence is not just a word, it is a lifestyle, a commitment, a force that propels you forward even when everything in your life screams to give up. Life is not easy. Dreams are not simple. Goals are not guaranteed. Challenges will rise, obstacles will appear, and setbacks will come. But the person who embraces persistence refuses to be stopped, refuses to be discouraged, refuses to let temporary defeat define their ultimate victory. To embrace persistence, you must first understand its power. The world often celebrates talent or opportunity, but persistence outlasts all of that. Persistence is what carries you through when motivation fades. Persistence is what sustains you when energy is low. Persistence is what turns ordinary effort into extraordinary results. The person who persists continues to take steps toward their goals even when the road is long, the journey is tough, and success seems distant. Persistence is not glamorous. It is consistent, relentless, and unstoppable. Persistence begins with commitment to your purpose. You must know what you are striving for, why you are striving, and what it will take to get there. When your purpose is clear, persistence becomes natural. You do not quit because you are invested in the vision of your life. You do not stop because you are dedicated to the outcome you have seen in your mind. Commitment fuels persistence. It gives you the strength to rise after failure, to continue after disappointment, to keep moving forward when the world seems against you. Embracing persistence also requires resilience. Life will challenge you. You will encounter obstacles, criticism, and moments of despair. You may stumble, fall, and fail. But persistence is the refusal to let those moments define you. It is the ability to get back up, shake off the defeat, and keep moving. Resilience is built when you choose to see setbacks as temporary, challenges as lessons, and obstacles as opportunities to grow stronger. The persistent person understands that failure is not final and difficulty is not permanent. Every setback is a stepping stone, every challenge is a test, and every obstacle is an invitation to rise higher. Persistence is fueled by discipline. Cannot persist without discipline because persistence requires action over time, even when desire is low. Discipline is what makes you show up when motivation leaves. Discipline is what forces you to take the next step when fatigue tries to stop you. Discipline is what turns intention into action and action into progress. Every day you persist, every effort you make, every choice to move forward strengthens your ability to overcome, endure, and achieve. To embrace persistence, you must also embrace patience. Success is rarely instantaneous. Dreams do not unfold overnight. Growth does not happen in a single moment. Persistence requires the willingness to stay the course, to endure delays, and to trust that consistent effort over time will produce results. Patience does not mean inactivity. It means continuing to work while trusting the process, continuing to strive while trusting the journey, continuing to believe while trusting the outcome. Patience and persistence together create unstoppable momentum. Persistence is also mental. The mind will tell you to quit. The mind will whisper fear. The mind will try to convince you that the obstacles are too big, the competition too strong, effort too exhausting. The persistent person does not surrender to the mind's doubts. They command it. They speak to their mind with truth, courage, and determination. They remind themselves of their purpose, their vision, and their potential. They refuse to entertain thoughts of surrender. Persistence is born in the mind before it is executed in action. You must train your mind to endure, to believe, and to push forward no matter the circumstances. Persistence requires adaptability. The path to your goals may not be straight. Challenges may require you to adjust, change tactics, or rethink strategies. Persistence does not mean stubbornly moving in the wrong direction. It means relentlessly moving toward the goal, even if the route changes. Adaptability allows you to continue when the plan fails, to adjust when obstacles appear, and to pivot when circumstances demand it. Persistent person does not give up. They evolve. They persist even when the road twists, turns, or becomes unexpectedly difficult. Persistence is inspirational. The person who refuses to quit becomes a model of courage and determination for others. Your persistence motivates, encourages, uplifts those around you. People are inspired not by those who succeed effortlessly, but by those who overcome, endure, and continue despite adversity. You embrace persistence, you are not only shaping your destiny, you are influencing the world around you. Your example of determination becomes a beacon for those who have yet to discover the power of enduring through challenges. Persistence is transformational. Every step you take, every challenge you face, every failure you endure shapes your character, your resilience, and your faith in yourself. Person who persists grows stronger, wiser, and more capable with every obstacle overcome. Challenges become opportunities, failures become lessons. Effort becomes mastery. Persistence transforms ordinary individuals into extraordinary achievers. It is the force that separates those who dream from those who accomplish. Finally, embracing persist is non-negotiable for those who desire greatness. Life will always present challenges, critics, and setbacks. Your dreams will always face resistance. Your goals will always face obstacles, and your journey will always encounter difficulties. But the person who persists refuses to be defeated. They declare, I will not quit. I will not surrender. I will continue. I will endure. I will achieve. That declaration becomes a shield against discouragement, a sword against obstacles, and a compass guiding you toward your purpose. Persistence is the heartbeat of achievement, the rhythm of success, and the foundation of victory. Embrace persistence in every area of your life. Commit to your purpose. Rise. After every fall, act with discipline. Trust the process with patience. Train your mind to endure. Adapt when necessary. Inspire others through your example. And never, ever give up. Every step you take, every effort you make, every challenge you face brings you closer to the life you were destined to live. Success is not for the faint of heart. Victory is not for those who quit. Dreams are realized by those who persist. Embrace persistence, and you will discover a power within you that is unstoppable, unshakable, and unbreakable. Keep moving, keep striving, keep believing, keep enduring, and watch as your persistence transforms your dreams into reality, your struggles into strength, your life into a testimony of triumph. I want to speak to you today about a truth that too many people overlook, a power that too many people underestimate, a reality that too many people refuse to embrace. That truth is this: you have immeasurable potential. You were not created to live a small life. You were not designed to settle for mediocrity. You were not built to watch opportunities pass while fear, doubt, and limitation hold you back. You were created for greatness, for impact, for purpose, and for fulfillment. But the first step to unlocking that potential is to believe in it. Belief in your potential is not optional, it is essential. Without it, your gifts remain dormant, your vision remains unrealized, and your destiny remains unclaimed. Believing in your potential begins with recognition. You must see yourself for what you truly are, beyond your circumstances, beyond your mistakes, and beyond the opinions of others. Potential is not measured by current achievements or past failures. Potential is measured by what you are capable of becoming, what you are capable of accomplishing, and what you are capable of giving to the world. When you recognize your potential, you take the first step toward unleashing it. You begin to see possibilities where others see limitations. You begin to see opportunity where others see obstacles. You begin to understand that your life is not defined by your past. It is defined by the potential that lies within you. Belief in your potential requires faith in yourself. It is easy to doubt. It is easy to compare yourself to others and feel inadequate. It is easy to focus on weaknesses and overlook strengths, but belief in your potential means choosing to trust yourself, to trust your abilities, and to trust the capacity that resides within you. It is the voice that says, I may not have everything figured out, but I have what it takes. I may not know all the answers, but I have the ability to learn, to grow, and to succeed. Faith in yourself turns hesitation into action, doubt into courage, fear into determination. Belief in your potential also requires commitment to growth. Potential is not realized passively. It is cultivated actively. You must invest in yourself. You must learn. You must stretch beyond your comfort zone. You must practice, refine, and persevere. Every skill you develop, every lesson you learn, every challenge you overcome adds to your capacity and brings your potential closer to fulfillment. Belief without effort is empty. Without belief is directionless. But when belief in your potential is combined with consistent growth, transformation occurs, and your capabilities expand beyond what you once imagined. Believing in your potential requires overcoming fear and doubt. Fear will always whisper that you are not ready, not capable, or not deserving. Doubt will always attempt to convince you that you are limited, inadequate, or powerless. But the person who believes in their potential refuses to be paralyzed by these voices. They acknowledge fear without surrendering to it. They recognize doubt without letting it define them. They declare, I have more within me than circumstances suggest. I am capable of rising above fear. I am strong enough to overcome doubt. Belief in your potential is an act of courage. It is choosing to trust what you can become over what you are currently experiencing. Belief in your potential also requires vision. You must see beyond the present moment. You must imagine the person you can become, the life you can live, impact you can have. Vision gives focus, direction, and clarity. It allows you to align your actions with your purpose. Without vision, potential remains dormant. With vision, potential becomes possibility, and possibility becomes reality. You must cultivate a clear picture of what you are capable of achieving and allow that vision to guide every decision, every effort, and every step you take. Belief in your potential is strengthened by perseverance. The road to realizing potential is not smooth. Challenges, setbacks, and failures will test you. The person who believes in their potential does not give up. They rise after every fall. They continue despite difficulty. They persevere even when the world doubts them. Every obstacle overcome, every barrier broken, every moment of endurance strengthens belief in potential. Persistence turns potential into achievement. It turns possibility into reality. It turns hope into tangible results. Belief in your potential is empowering. When you truly believe in yourself, you no longer wait for validation from others. You no longer depend on approval to take action. You no longer let criticism, rejection, or setbacks define your worth. Belief in your potential creates independence, confidence, and authority over your life. It allows you to take risks, embrace challenges, and pursue opportunities without hesitation. It gives you the strength to move forward even when the path is uncertain, even when others doubt, and even when circumstances appear impossible. Belief in your potential also inspires action. Potential alone is meaningless without execution. Belief motivates you to take the steps necessary to develop your talents, pursue your goals, fulfill your purpose. It is the spark that ignites effort, perseverance, and creativity. Every action you take builds momentum, shapes your capabilities, demonstrates to yourself what you are truly capable of achieving. Belief turns thought into strategy, strategy into action, and action into results. Finally, believing in your potential is transformational. It changes your mindset, your confidence, your decisions, and your life trajectory. When you believe in your potential, limitations fade. Obstacles become challenges to overcome. Failures become lessons, and setbacks become stepping stones. Belief empowers you to see opportunity where others see impossibility. Belief allows you to rise above fear, doubt, and negativity. Belief shapes not only what you do, but also who you become. Stop underestimating yourself. Stop allowing fear, doubt, and limitation to define your life. Recognize the power, talent, and capacity within you. Trust yourself. Commit to growth. Overcome fear. Visualize your highest potential. Persevere through every challenge. Take action every day to cultivate your gifts. Believe in what you are capable of becoming. Refuse to let anything or anyone diminish that belief. Your potential is limitless. Your abilities are extraordinary. And your life is waiting for the power you carry within. Believe in your potential and you unlock doors. Create opportunities. Realize the destiny that was designed for you. Believe in your potential and you become unstoppable. Believe in your potential. The world will have no choice but to recognize the greatness within you.